Hi dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. And what a start to the Super 8s we had today, with the first super over being played between New Zealand and Sri Lanka, which was the first match of the Super 8s, and the Super 8s got off to a great start with the super over being played and Sri Lanka being the winners after the match was tied with both the scores, both the teams' scores level on 174, and then finally the super over was played and Sri Lanka prevailed over New Zealand and got their first points as far as the Super 8 was concerned. They got their 2 points. But what a match it was. I'll come to that later. In the meanwhile, just an update here. West Indies in the other Super 8 match made 179 for 5, with the principal scorers being Johnson Charles, who went on to his highest T20 score of 84, and England and the other player was Chris Gayle, who made 58. But England are absolutely reeling. The first over, the first 2 balls from Rampal, beginning the innings, England were really rocked hard. The first was Craig Kisbeater, who was dismissed. Back-to-back balls, he tried to pull a ball from Rampal, and in fact it went to Pollard, and Pollard took up the simplest of catches. So Kisbeater was gone for a duck, and Luke Wright was dismissed the very next ball as he tried to hit a ball through the offside, and Chris Gayle made no mistake, so he was gone for a duck. So England are in real trouble here in reply to 179 for 5 put on by the West Indies. England are 6 for 2 in the third over. We'll come back to that later as Rampal comes and bowls to Bairstow, and Bairstow will get no run. Well, now I'm just going to talk about the match between the first Super 8 match, which was played between New Zealand and Sri Lanka. Well, New Zealand were the ones who batted first. I'm going to be very brief here because of short of time once again. So New Zealand made 174 for 7 of their 20 overs, and the feature being Rob Nicol, and the opener, made a very good 58 of 40 balls with 3 fours and 4 sixes. In fact, he had Ajantha Mendis being put for 3 sixes in 1 over. Rob Nicol, in fact, he damaged Ajantha Mendis' figures, who gave 4 overs. He bowled for 48 runs and 1 wicket, and that was the worst figures for Ajantha Mendis in 20 over cricket, in 2020 overs. The other day he had the best, today he had the worst. So Rob Nicol caught Tirimane, bowled Dhananjaya 58, and Dhananjaya played today. The Akila Dhananjaya, the suspense bowler which everyone were looking forward to, finally was unleashed, and today he got a wicket with this in his first over itself, when Martin Guptill, after playing a good hand of 38 of 30 balls with 6 fours, departed. Caught Pereira, bowled Dhananjaya for 38. So it was a good start for New Zealand. They had a good start of 57 put on by Rob Nicol, who was aggressive, and Martin Guptill. And after that, there were contributions from Brendan McCullum, who made 25 of 16 balls with 2 sixes. Ross Taylor made 23 of 15 balls with 2 fours, and other than that, there was not much of a contribution. The score 174 for 7 for New Zealand. Jacob Oram was bowled by Malinga for 3. In fact, he was out for 6. Franklin was not out in 8. 174 for 7. The bowling, Kulashekara 2 for 33. Angelo Matthews 2 overs for 14. 4 overs no made 1 for 30 for Malinga. Ajantha Mendis was taken to the cleaners today. 4 overs no made 1 for 48. 4 overs no made 2 for 32 for Dhananjaya, who had his very good international debut today. 4 overs 2 for 32. He bowled well, and Jivantha Mendis bowled 2 overs for 13. As far as Sri Lanka were concerned, what a start they had. They raised up the score of 80. The openers, Mahela Jayawardene, the captain, and Tilakatne Dilshan raised the 80 runs in just 7.2 overs. And the first over, which was bowled by Nathan McCullum, the off spinner, was taken for 17 runs, with Tilakatne Dilshan smashing a 6 on the boundary. And well, this was a good contrast. Jayawardene was making batting look so easy, with all cricketing strokes, orthodox strokes, sending the balls over the boundary into the fence, and he was looking very good with his strokes. And as I said, Jayawardene was making batting look very easy. And Tilakatne Dilshan, on the other hand, was smashing the ball. He was hitting the boundaries and sixes, and he was also looking good. And both of them were really making a sort of a question mark for New Zealand, with the bowlers really wilting under the pressure. Tim Southee in particular really getting some carting from Jayawardene and Dilshan, and the score moved on to 80. After that, the wicket fell. This was a good start for Sri Lanka. and the wicket started falling. The first wicket to go was Mahela Jayawardene, caught by Vettori of the bowling of Jacob Oram for 44 of 26 balls with 3 fours and 3 sixes. Dilshan was there, but Kumar Sangakkara was run out for 21 of 14 balls with 4 fours. Jivanta Mendes out for 8, and suddenly the pressure started building on the Sri Lankan innings with Tilakhan and Dilshan at the crease, and finally it came with the score 3 overs and 30 runs were required, and suddenly Sri Lanka, from a position of strength where the openers had really thrashed the bowling and put them into a good position, the other batsmen, well, they probably were a bit slow, and they also losing wickets meant that they had to really play a bit safe there, but later on the pressure piled on the Sri Lankans, and I thought Tim Southee, 3 overs 30 runs were required at that stage, and Tim Southee came in and bowled a superb over. The second spell of Southee was very, very good. He was right on the money. He was not giving anything away. He was bowling a lot of Yorkers, making the batsman Dilshan himself was not able to force the pace. At the other end with Angelo Matthews, and they were content. They were only able to get singles. Tisra Pereira was promoted in the batting order. That was after Dilshan was out. Dilshan then, in the 2 overs left and 21 runs to get, Dilshan actually started off the over by actually carting a 6 of the bowling. I think it was of Jacob Oram, I suppose, but he carted a 6 of that bowling, the first ball itself. But Tilakhan Dilshan was run out, going for the second run out for 76 of 53 balls, 5 fours and 3 sixes, and finally it came down to the wire with just only 1 over to go, and probably 7 or 8 runs probably required, 6 runs or 7 runs, 8 runs probably required in the last over, and it was something that was a good contest. As Tim Southee was bowling the last over, he was bowling superbly, as it was not easy to get him off the square, and in that process Tisra Pereira, after hitting a 4 of the first ball that was bowled by Tim Southee in the final over, fell, as Tisra Pereira was clean bowled by Franklin. Slower delivery deceived him. He was gone for 5. Thirimani was promoted in the batting order. Thirimani played some very cheeky shots to be run out on 5, and finally the last ball, they tried to steal a single with the scores level on the penultimate ball of the 20th over, but in the last ball of the 20th over was the one which effected a run out with the stumps being broken by Ross Taylor, and probably everyone felt that Sri Lanka were home, but it was not. The third umpire was called into the picture, and it was ruled that the batsman was out. So it was Thirimani was run out for 5, and then it became a tie. 174 for 6 wickets for Sri Lanka. So both the teams tied. Bowling figures: Nathan McCullum 3 overs for 25, Kyle Mills 2 overs for 15. Southee was costly, but let me tell you, let's not look into those figures of Tim Southee. Tim Southee in the second spell bowled excellently, kept the runs down, was bowling lots of Yorkers, was not giving the batsman any room, and he was following the batsman. That was very good to see. Jacob Oram 3 overs 1 for 26, Vettori 4 overs none for 29, Franklin 4 overs 2 for 34. It was Franklin who was hit for a 6 by I think it was Tisra Pereira, if I'm not wrong. Well, now let's get on, and after that it was the super over, and in the super over it was Sri Lanka who prevailed. They had Mahela Jayawardene and Tisra Pereira opening, but they couldn't get much runs. They got only 13 runs. But in the super over, New Zealand, it was a very good catch taken by Tilakhan Dilshan, which also won him the Man of the Match award. The ball was going away from Martin Guptill, hit it clean as a whistle, but Tilakhan Dilshan managed to get that catch just inches inside the boundary line, and that was Sri Lanka's victory. So the Super 8s had a great start, I would say, into this T20 World Cup with the first match in this T20 World Cup getting into a super over and ending in a victory for Sri Lanka, the hosts. Well, so now I'll be and also since I don't have much time here, I'll just give you a live cricket update right now. Tilakhan Dilshan was named Man of the Match for his innings there, and he looked very good. He also played some beautiful strokes. Let's look at the West Indies England scorecard here. Now England slowly recovering from the position they were. Now they are 24 for 2 after hit hard by Ravi Rampal in the first over itself. They are 24 for 2 currently. Hales is not out on 17 of 12 balls with 3 fours. 7 to Johnny Bairstow of 14 balls with 1 4. He is batting there. As far as West Indies were concerned, they won the toss and elected to bat, and they made 179 for 5 with the opening partnership really setting the scene for West Indies to go to a score of 179 for 5 with 103 put on by Chris Gale, who went after the bowlers. In fact, he hit 3 sixes in a single over of Samit Patel. He hit 2 sixes of Graham Swan, so that comprised, in fact, he hit 3 sixes and 2 sixes were hit of Samit Patel by I think Chris Gale hit 3 sixes of Samit Patel and 1 6 of Graham Swan. Johnson Charles smashed Samit Patel for 2 sixes, and it was very good to see. Johnson Charles played a very good hand. 103 were added in double quick time in the 11th over by West Indies, with Johnson Charles and Chris Gale really going out to the bowling. In fact, Johnson Charles was a bit quiet at the initial stage. He was not really middling the ball, and later on Johnson Charles, after Gale's departure for 58 of 35 balls with 6 fours and 4 sixes, Johnson Charles took up the mantle, and he was the highest scorer with 84 of just 56 dealt with, his highest score in T20 cricket, which has given him lots of confidence with 10 fours and 3 sixes, and he was playing superbly. He was hitting the ball through the line, was hitting it with lots of power too. Other than that, there was nothing really to talk about. Samuels was out cheaply for 2, Pollard was out for 1, Dwayne Bravo was not out for 11, Russell was not out on 10, and the score reached 179 for 5 for West Indies, which was a good score. And Stephen Finn, 4 overs, 1 for 26, bowled well. Dunlap, 4 overs, 1 for 38. Broad bowled well, 4 overs, 1 2 for 26. 3 overs for 32 runs for Swan. As I said, Gale and Charles went after the spinners, and 4 overs, no made and none for 38 for Samit Patel. Luke Wright, 1 over for 11 runs. England, 24 for 2 currently. As I said, they were rocked hard by Ravi Rampal getting 2 early wickets in the beginning, and right now they are 27 for 2 in the 6th over. 2 for 6 for Rampal looks pretty. 2 overs, 1 made and 6 runs and 2 wickets. Right now it's Alex Hales on 17, and let's look at the latest. I will look at the latest score right now, and then I'm going to leave you, dear fans, because I'm getting late. I have to leave, unfortunately. But as I look at the score here, they are 27 for 2 currently. Bairstow is on 10, Hales is on 17, but we have a good match on hands here. Well, dear fans, on this note, unfortunately your support has been good, but unfortunately due to shortage of time I'm not able to really go the distance today. I hope we have a great game of cricket tomorrow. There are 2 good games coming up, key games I would say: Pakistan versus South Africa and India versus Australia. That's it from me, your host Ram, with this live cricket update. Your host Ram is ending the Cricket Happening show for today. Thank you.